Can't be canceled, there's no way that you can stop me. I'm fully independent, there's no label who can drop me. Y'all been starting rumors, let me help you with some. Yeah, y'all can't cancel me. My life is scandal free. There ain't no sponsors taking losses cause the brand is me. My hands are clean, my family and my fans agree. Y'all can't cancel me for facts because you're mad and weak. How's a man say I'm clickbait if he gonna use this face to get clicks on his page? Y'all hypocrites are made. But I ain't tripping about these bullies, it ain't 6th grade. Go ahead and diss me trying to sell a couple mixtapes. I am not playing it safe, I said what I said, it is what it is.
I don't care if you mad at me, okay? Go ahead and change the channel. Don't waste your time trying to cancel me, okay? They love me cause they know that I'm it. Say what you want, I guess it is what it is. Haters can talk, but they can't cancel the kid. Go ahead and go on, try and say this is it.
Aaron Tuttle here. It's storm season in Oklahoma, and with that comes torrential rain, high winds, and hail. To protect your home and your family from these threats, the one roofing company you should trust is Ferguson Roof Systems. They've been providing the best in roofing services for nearly half a century. Ferguson is Oklahoma's full-service roofing company, certified with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and a 5-star rating on Google. And with Ferguson now offering Class 4 impact-resistant shingles, now is the time to trust them with your home's roof. Get started today at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Can't be canceled, there's no way that you can stop me.
Hey there, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle with you. It is, what day is it? I was going to say Monday. Man, Monday was a bad day. It's still going on for me. It's Tuesday. I don't want to repeat Monday. I tell you what, it is a little after 12:30, so we're going to do a quick lunchtime live for you. A little late to my own party. I like to sometimes get on before noon, but today this wasn't going to happen. But hey, thanks for joining me. We're going to get right on into it, by the way, so thanks for watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. All right, so let's take a look outside. We've got the clouds that are still out there with us. It's kind of a gloomy, cloudy day again, and somebody's going to turn into some more thunderstorms out there. We're going to show you here that in just a second. So kind of the same old, same old. You know, we're stuck in this rut, right? And unfortunately, the rut's just not going away. Let's take a look at the, before I get to that map, we're going to show you this one. This is the radar view. There is some rain from central Oklahoma, so around Guthrie to Oklahoma City, back down toward Chickasha and Maud and Elmore City. Now what I'm going to do is put this in motion. The reason why is if you focus your attention around the Lawton area, right around here, you're going to see this little spiraling motion in this vicinity. So this is the MCV, or mesoscale convective vortex, which is the leftover remnants of circulation, mid-level circulation from the thunderstorm complex from last night. The storms that rolled through in the morning hours and kind of died out and moved off to the east, which is what they continue to do around Durant. So, in and near this area of circulation, you can pick up little stronger thunderstorms that try to develop and rotate through out ahead of it. So, as this thing kind of transitions slowly eastward, it'll take the favorite area here for thunderstorm development kind of in this region for the rest of this afternoon. So, that does not put Oklahoma City in the favorable area. So since this thing is not moving northeast, it's moving more now easterly. There won't be really much of a threat for any strong storms around here, but out to our south and east there will be. So let's take a look at that as well. All right, so for the National Weather Service, they have included western northwest Oklahoma for potential for a slight risk of severe storms. And this is from a different mechanism, dry line out in western Oklahoma and a weak front up here in northwestern Kansas. That's what's generating this area. They just have kind of a marginal borderline severe weather criteria across the rest of the state, including southeast Oklahoma, because confidence is very low. As I mentioned last night, it's a very low probability event, what we're talking about, but it's not zero. Here's a look at the Wednesday outlook way out there in northwest Oklahoma, and then Thursday, you're probably already seeing all the newscasters, all the weather guys get all up in arms, jump up and down about Thursday, screaming Armageddon. Well, fine, whatever. It's Thursday, and we'll talk about that as we get closer to that event as well. All right, let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center. They've got the highlighted areas we've mentioned out here across the west and northwestern parts of the state. They do have some of this in a weak tornado circle here in Northwest. And look what they added. They added this guy here for southeast Oklahoma based off of what I was talking about earlier last night. So it's not going to include central Oklahoma anymore. It'll be kind of more southeast later in the evening hours as things progress. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. Otherwise, a wide spread of wind covering it and also some hail. But on the very, very low probability side, it's 5%. So in other words, it's it's almost not worth talking about, but it's one of those deals where, you know what, someone somewhere is going to get it, so you have to plot a colored circle for it, right? All right, now here's a look at the satellite viewpoint as well. We looked at the radar a minute ago, and this will be what the satellite looks like. So there's a lot of cloud cover out there across the state. And there are peaks of sun kind of in between these bands of showers, and there's some peaks of sun down here. So again, the circulation's right around here for the mid-levels, which will track eastward with time. So that's kind of how we're shaping up so far today. So it's not exactly a gorgeous day, but it is a day, all right? It's a day. Let's take a look at the precipitation and the reflectivity. So off the tech model. So the tech model was a lot more bullish in the outcome for that MCV yesterday than the day before. But today kind of weakened a little bit in that signal, but it still continues it across southern and southeastern Oklahoma. And when it does, you get a little bit of extra wind shear kick along that feature. So it still likes the idea of a potential tornado or two with any strong thunderstorms that become more supercellular down here now in southeast Oklahoma. So before, it kind of favored this area of the state, and now it's going to favor this area of the state. So we're free and clear here as far as that threat goes. It's a very small, tiny microclimate event, so it's going to affect a very small number of potential people down here across the state. So that's kind of how the way the storms are looking for this afternoon for any potential tornadoes out there. Now, if you look out across northwest and northern Oklahoma, here's the next deal here. There are a couple of storms out here in the Panhandle, and sometimes those can produce tornadoes rather easily here out in the Texas Panhandle due to terrain and whatnot. So there may be a couple, warnings issued out there, but you can see those storms move into southwest Oklahoma. So that's the secondary favored area of a potential tornado. And the third one is going to be up here far northwest Oklahoma, but the latest models kind of drop those storms in their intensity. All right, and this is just off the tech model. So we'll take a look at here at the high resolution HER, and we'll see if that changes. Let me go through, back this up through time. Let me tell you what, let me go to the very latest run. So this actually updates every hour on the hour. This is supposed to be our flagship model, so we'll see what it does here. So it's got those storms bubbling up here in southeast Oklahoma during the mid to late afternoon hours, continuing. So some of those will be borderline severe and the potential of a tornado. Now, if the tornado does happen, it should be weak, short-lived. It's not going to be one of those big, long ones. That would be good news. Now, as we head into the latter part of the afternoon, it does fire off some of those storms out here in the Panhandle and up here across northwest Oklahoma. Some of these may be a little bit high-based early on, but if they can linger and last in the evening hours, and that's a big if they can do that, then cloud bases will lower, better moisture, low-level jets, so they could potentially produce a tornado. But remember, today is not one of those days where it's just screaming tornado. Keep that in mind. It's just a very low probability. It's just not zero. I'm not overly excited about it, but I have to mention it because it's in the data. So we headed to overnight. You can see those storms up there in southwest Oklahoma. Now let's move on into, tell you what, let's go long term. So let's go on into Wednesday. And I mentioned how Wednesday appeared to be a relatively quiet day, and it's still looking like that. So we're going to do this little guy here, and then we'll show you a peak of Thursday, and then we're going to call it. This will be a pretty short live. So here's the earlier view of storms out there in western Oklahoma. The prior run of this model, this is the morning run, was a lot more excited about these storms than the latter runs are. And the problem is these runs can flip back and forth so much, you don't want to put too much stock in one particular hour of the run. Just the general consensus, which is some storms in northwest Oklahoma late this afternoon, evening, and out across the Texas Panhandle. Then those move into southwest Oklahoma around midnight or so. Not much happening here in central Oklahoma with that. They should fall apart. Now let's see. There's Wednesday. I went right past Wednesday. I didn't see any rain. Did you? I saw there's a thunderstorm there in Muskogee tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock Wednesday. Otherwise, pretty quiet day on Wednesday. And there's something coming in here Thursday morning. It's like just a straggler. Let's see. Does this model go out to Thursday? Let's take a look. I believe it does. Does it go out far enough, though? Oh, yes, it does. Okay. So this is kind of similar to what we talked about last night, a line of storms up here in northern, northwestern Oklahoma and some out in the Panhandle. So, you may see that big, broad area that was painted enhanced risk right here, right? Well, where are all the storms on the radar? They're up here. So it's a little early to get too, bogged down in placements as far as the intensity of these storms. Now, the idea is these storms would continue overnight and then move southward as an overnight squall line. That's a lot of presumptions being made. It's early in the game. You can see there's a weakness here in the line development from what the models think is going to happen. If we do look at the forecast soundings, though, for Thursday afternoon up in this area of northern Oklahoma, the wind shear, as far as strength goes, is quite a bit stronger, but so is the cap. It's not exactly ideal in directional shear. It's got marginal tornado risk, marginal meaning very weak, barely in existence, but so obviously some severe weather is likely with this, which is normal for this time of the year. So that's kind of a quick look at Thursday, not getting into too much other detail. If we look into the overall shear and the instability in the Cape that's needed and required to see some severe weather, it does return in general terms in this orange and yellow shading. So in other words, the atmosphere has finally got its instability back overall, and all the shear parameters, about 90 degrees in directional shear. Up here they weren't, closer to the storms, but the rest of the body of the state is. So in other words, it's favorable for severe weather, but you still have to have a trigger, and you still have to have actual storms move into that environment. So we'll see what happens Thursday night while most of us are sleeping, or at least in the early part of the night, like midnight hour before you go to sleep, something like that. We'll see what happens with storms up north. Otherwise, that's it, and we'll deal with that later. Temperature-wise, over the next few days, 80s and then some 70s. So the models are starting a little cooling trend as we head into the weekend on into next week. Now, the read between the lines is the more they try to cool things, it typically means the more clouds we have and the more rain is around the area. As we talked about last night, the prior model said it mostly dry for the Memorial Day weekend, but there's some signals of some rain here and there we have to deal with. So we'll get into that later. Not going to do it for this lunchtime live. We did that last night, and we'll probably do that again tonight if you want to join me then. All right, well, that is it for me. I got to get back to work, but I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you're in southeast Oklahoma, keep your eyes out. Make sure you use my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. If a storm does produce a tornado or is about to, it'll warn you with a twisting storm alert or dangerous storm approaching. It'll also give you lightning in the area alerts. So if you got kids at the pool or whatever, you got plenty of time to get them out. So make sure you utilize that. It's on Apple and Google Play. And with that, I'm out. So you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.